My guest today is the creator of The Place for Things. He's a videographer, filmmaker, and writer. He's directed music videos for Travis Thompson that amassed over 25 million views on YouTube. I'm excited to welcome Dylan Fout.
Hello, I'm excited to be here. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, man, we've talked off and on for a while now, and just to get you on, I wanted to have you on when you were in Seattle, but where are you at now?
I currently live in Dallas.
Dallas.
I am currently in Dallas. Yeah, I'm a cowboy.
How is it down there?
Man, it's not as yeehaw as you would think, but coming from living in Seattle for 4 years, it is extremely
Yeah,
yeehaw.
yeah. That's
It's a good
I
place.
haven't been to Dallas myself, but I got some buddies from there. And I heard it's like a cool place to be for creative types, at least comedy wise. There's like a lot of clubs and shit.
Yeah, man, I think you would do damage down here. Like your style and brand of comedy would just have people so flabbergasted out there. I would love to see it, man. You'd be making people way uncomfortable.
Dude, I want to go down. My buddy's home club is Hyenas,
Cool.
and I want to go down and work there. So if I can, if anybody is with Hyenas and needs a comic, hit me up for sure. But
Yeah,
before
come
we
over, have
jump
a
into
sleepover.
stuff too, I got to plug quick. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe button, the notifications bell down there. If you got a question or a comment for myself or Dylan, please throw it in. Doing that helps us out a lot. And then we also did start a Patreon. If you're a fan of the podcast and want to support us, go on there. It's patreon.com/F&F pod. It'll be in the show notes, but let's go straight into it, man. The Place for Things. I've heard so much about this from a bunch of people. I've had Campana on. I've had Deja Richardson, Tyree, a bunch of Seattle folks, and you've worked with like all these different musicians. How did this start for you?
Man, Campana, it's funny you had him on the show. He's one of the best people I've ever met in my life. And honestly, I may not be doing the things I'm doing if it weren't for him. About I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, roughly, I started a website called The Place for Things, and it was a music blog. We covered hip hop music. We were posting 5 or 6 articles a day on artists that we loved, like mostly underfunded and underexposed artists. And Campana was one of those people. So I met him online and I followed his music for about 6 months. I'm covering every song he releases. And eventually I'm just like, man, if you will let me come move with you and move in with you, stay on your couch, I'll make you videos in exchange for rent. And we did just that, man. Like I got to move to Seattle without even knowing the guy.
Where were you?
I was back home. So back home for me is in between Chicago and Milwaukee. It's called Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yeah. So Mike's
Zion,
from
Illinois.
there. Mike
Yeah.
Mike Gardner. So he's
Yes.
been on the podcast too, and he talked
Totally,
quite a bit
man.
about. Did you guys know each other before you moved out to like?
Yeah,
Okay,
I met Mike at Tinseltown movie theaters. I used to go I'd get real stoned on like a Tuesday for the matinees. I'd smoke out in the parking lot and then I'd go inside and there'd be nobody there. And I just see this one fucking tall, lanky dude who just looked all slick back like G Easy. And I'm like, dang, this guy's tight. So we just became kind of buddies and he ended up designing the Place for Things first logo.
that's
And then
right. I'm sorry.
eventually,
I fucking should
that's
have
all
pieced
good,
that.
dude.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's all good. It's just funny how small of a world it is, man, because like I was introduced to your podcast through Henry.
hmm
I actually helped design
Rest in
a lot
peace. By
of
the
the.
way, he's
Wait, he died? Is
not
he dead?
not officially, but that's what happens when you start recording your own episodes as a producer. Like there's some consequences to that. So
I saw that photograph of his that drawing. Dude, your art is so good, and I
Mike
just want
makes
to
it.
commend.
Mike does it.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
totally.
it's
I
like
know, man.
it's so much fun to have him doing that stuff, and he knows everybody
It,
involved. So
it's crazy, bro.
yeah,
Like we all know Henry, and like Henry helped me get a gig with you. Actually, I don't even know if you knew this, but
yeah,
I was like putting together a lot of the back end stuff
the
for your
skins and
podcast.
stuff. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. Okay, that's a great way to say it.
yeah.
But it
This
was just
this like
such a
bubble of place for things, folks. Is just like it this nucleus. It's crazy, and you came out here. You were doing videos for Campana and living on
yeah.
his couch.
I was sleeping on his couch. We had a couple of roommates. Nicholas the Ruin, rest in peace. He was another artist that I worked with. He actually passed away a week or two after I moved there. He had finished recording his first and only studio album, and Campana, myself, and Nick's entire network of friends, including Travis, Tyler Dops, people, Seattle Jaga, Seattle Staples, they were all a part of this album called Distant Implosions, which we were able to raise a ton of money for via GoFundMe, and we were able to get his first and only album mixed and mastered and released online for the world to see. So if you do want to listen to it, it's on SoundCloud. Nicholas the Ruin, Distant Implosions. He's an artist that was way ahead of his time. I definitely suggest you listen to him, man.
Yeah, and before we go too far, you'd mentioned when we were starting that money's a little tight right now. Is there anywhere, if people are interested in your stuff and want to support you, where can they get your stuff? Because our YouTube's funny, man. People watch for like 10 minutes, so we got to get it early.
Let's get it early. Okay, so if you wanted to send me money, you could mail a birthday card to. Just kidding. You could just hit me up on OnlyFans. It's no, man. If you want to support me, I suggest that you just support the artists that I work with. There's an infinite list of them, but some of them that you might know would be Travis Thompson. If where I'm currently working is in professional paintball. So if you did want to see some of my work, I encourage you to just follow the sport of pro paintball, the NXL, National X-Ball League, and Go Sports. I work for the broadcast there. Yeah, or you could just follow me. I don't know, whatever. Just
make sure. What's your social media? Just so folks.
Dylan filmed it.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to the place for things though. So you're sleeping on Campana's couch, and then you meet Travis. Yeah. Who I've met before. I met Tyler Dobbs before. I'm working on getting Tyler on. So if Tyler's listening, hit me back up. It's in your DMs. So definitely, I want to talk to both of them on here because they're so cool and so talented. But how did that come about for you?
Well, Tyler was actually one of our roommates when I moved in. He was another artist that I would write articles about while I lived outside of Seattle. Travis as well. I'd cover all their music. I was a big Seattle art fan. I thought that they were doing things that the rest of the country weren't, and this was at a time when they didn't necessarily have the accolades that they currently do. There weren't multiple major label artists coming out of Seattle. There was really only Macklemore and Sir Mix-a-Lot and Soul. Like there's a bunch, but this new wave is what I was kind of a part of, and yeah, it was beautiful. I'm sleeping on Campana's couch in our second apartment, and Travis Thompson started coming over. It was a place he could smoke weed while he still lived at home. He'd come over. I lived on the couch, so my bedroom was the living room where everybody was always at, and we became really close that way. A lot of laughs shared, a lot of podcast conversations that were never recorded. But it was a special time in just art and in my career and in Travis's career and everybody around us too, you know?
Yeah. So how did you end up, what did you shoot for Travis?
48 videos.
Wow.
So probably like 80% of what is on Travis's YouTube channel. I helped direct, film, and edit in one way, shape, or another, starting back to Father Forgive Me, which is actually, and I will talk to Tyler for you, it was half filmed by Tyler Dops, and that's our most popular video. It has like 20 million views on it. It was a really special time for us because that's when we realized that the recipe is in independent success. So like gathering your friends around, calling in favors, filming at places that people normally wouldn't film at in Seattle. And what we did is we built a world, man. And that world was a place people could live in. And we were constantly driving home new content, new music videos, new tour videos, new vlog videos, show announcement videos. The list goes on. It was just a time when we were putting together the blueprint of what like independent success actually looks like today. But we were doing it 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's not like we're special or great by any means, but like it just goes to show that when you get surrounded by a group of artists who believe in a common goal, you truly can take over an entire city and even the internet. Like we got fucking 3,500 or 350,000 subscribers together. Like that's a crazy number, you know?
How did you do that?
We told authentic, true stories. Like we didn't make Travis out to be this like rich and famous person, because although he was extremely successful and famous to some people, he was just a normal dude. He was driving a a Chevy Cavalier, you know, like it was a beater, like a piece of shit. Didn't even have like a front seat that was locked into the fucking car and you're like shaking as you drive. Um, and we just made sure that like no matter what we did, we filmed it and then we put out a video, and we were vulnerable on camera, and it allowed him and myself and many of us to develop an audience that stays with us to this day, man.
Yeah, and where did most of that traction like come from? Was it Twitter? Or
Uh,
was it because you have like a pretty active social presence
yeah.
and it's unique too. So like what have you learned that's worked for you? If somebody's trying to do something similar, what would you recommend?
Man, if you were trying to replicate some form of what we did, I would encourage you to film everything, as I've said a couple times. But like it truly is that simple. Like that is the recipe. Keep making things. Like it's on my shirt for a reason, because if you if you're not releasing content or videos or whatever the hell you want to call it, no one is going to see you. And I think you know this just as well. Like you're on what episode? Like a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
You're way up
this has
there,
come
and
to
it's still,
150.
yeah, and you're still trying to break through this like this clutter and this noise that's in your industry. It's the same in music, it's the same in paintball, anything creative. Like if you can just consistently put out stuff that people look at and they're like, well, they tried really hard on this. Like the views will reflect it and the opportunities will come. So just keep making things.
Yeah. I do think too people don't talk about this enough. Like you generate like taste by going through that process. Like you know what you like, what you don't like, and you don't get that any other way besides trying. Like it's easy to cross your arms and be like, I don't like that. But like to be able to say, I don't like that because of this, this, and this, and it like knowing the mechanics of all of it, it makes you a better artist for sure. And I personally think like using social media just like promotion only as an artist, like it can be a bit of a trap, but like if you use it creatively, you can learn like how to connect with people in different ways and have fun with it. And I mean, there's some people that do it really well and other people that don't. I don't love being on social media all the time, but when you hit that like sweet spot of like, oh, I'm having fun with this and I'm reaching a bunch of people, it can be really rewarding. So it's a tricky thing, but I love that mindset of like keep making things. And dude, when I started Henry, like he gave me this schedule. He's like, hey, we're gonna release this like this week and this week and this week, and like kind of a every other week schedule. And I looked at him, I was like, dude, I don't want to do that. And he's like, hey, if we don't do this, like it's not gonna happen. And
He's right.
it I don't know if that was from being around you or being in that community himself, but like, dude, that schedule has pushed me to do things like even if some of those releases I'm not proud of, it got me to that better level, you know?
Yes, man. Having someone like Henry in your corner that will be there to tell you those things, those hard things that like as an artist, as a comedian, you just don't want to do. Like who wants to show up 150 times in front of the same wall and talk about other people's shit and maybe not break through? Henry, bless him, he was an incredible artist and is an incredible artist still to this day without releasing music. And he always knew how to roll out a new concept like a podcast or a song or a video, and that's so critical. Like you said, social media is not just a place where you promote things, it's a place where you're social. And if you're not engaging in what other people are creating, what makes you expect that they're going to do the same for you? So just when you're online, use that time to forge relationships, but be genuine about it. Don't just be like, this is fire, you know, like tell them why. Like, what did you like about it? What did you dislike about it? What did you learn from it? Because if you learn from something from it, apply it to your own shit and watch yourself just grow
Oh
leaps and
yeah.
bounds, you know?
And you get to bounce ideas. Like there's nothing better than having another creative person who you respect their work product. And then you can be like, hey, I'm working on this. Like, what do you think of it? And they're giving you different ways of thinking about stuff that's so different. Like, that's gold.
That is gold. And like, I mean, just okay, take you for example. I'm writing my first couple scripts. I have two vomit drafts done of two different stories, and just knowing you and being a fan of what you create, in my head, I was like, oh, dude, I need to DM him. I need to eventually send him this script if he's open to it. And I need him to tear it apart, write in some funny fucking comedian jokes that are just raunchy and out of this world. And just by doing that, you introduced me to Mike. I think it's Devore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know any people who write, but now I do. I know two dudes, and they're
Yeah.
both from you actually, which is really cool. Thank you. I haven't been able to really collaborate with Mike in any like tangible way, but we follow each other's work, and sometimes it's just nice when I post something about writing. Like, fuck, I made it through writing a whole story. There's someone there on Twitter who's like, dude, good work, because I know how fucking difficult that was because I'm doing the same thing.
Dude,
It's beautiful,
writing
man.
is this different beast too, where like there's so much stuff with like stand up where you work a joke that day and then you bring it on stage and you get to see like you that instant feedback, you know. But then
Oh,
writing, it's like you grind it out, and there's the hardest part is getting somebody to even be interested to watch or like read it to do edit, because you actually have to buy in, you
you
know.
have to buy in, bro. And I'm so grateful you sent me a an unreleased comedy set that you've done. I think it was like a 9 minute set you did in New York, maybe.
Yep, yep.
Bro, that shit was so funny. I
Appreciate it,
was
man.
I was cracking up the whole time I'm watching it, man. It's really nice to see other people doing things that are hard, man. Like doing a 10-minute set in comedy, it's on my bucket list. I'm not funny like you in the same way, but like as you know, there's a million different types of comedians, and it's just I have so much admiration for people who can go on that stage, specifically that stage, because in my opinion, the most difficult art there is stand-up comedy. And man, I just hats off to you because that shit is so cool to watch, and I'm really excited to see you continue to like get on bigger and bigger stages, doing more shows. I love what you're doing in Tacoma. I follow all the comedian stuff that you guys do. Anybody I see you tagging, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go listen to them. They're fucking funny. They got like 10 followers, and these dudes are cracking me up.
Yeah,
And
man.
girls too,
Oh yeah.
definitely girls.
Yeah, no, we got a really cool Seattle is like another scene where or comedy in Seattle is similar to music where it's just like there's not the industry here, but the talent for sure is here. And we support like the city supports artists. So like
It
if you're
does.
trying to get good, you really can like get a lot of opportunities, and you know, there's some fucking cool clubs out here too. Like
Hey,
I'm bummed out. Travis and Tyler came to Nate Jackson's club down in
dude, that's what I'm
Tacoma.
talking about. Yes.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Was it lit?
It was a really good. Macklemore was there that night too. He was one of the judges for the competition. So
Sick, bro. Like
yeah.
just that alone. And honestly, Travis is another one of those people that like he will do comedy one day. At
Oh
least
yeah.
I'm confident he will because he has the stage presence, the timing. It is a lot timing. And he also just has crazy shit to talk about.
Dude,
But
he's
hey, dude,
funny.
oh, he's fucking hilarious,
Yeah.
man. So is Tyler Dobbs is super funny. That you should get him on this show.
Yeah, man.
But did anyone ever tell you that you look like the guy from Prison Break?
Yeah. I get that
I had to
every
say that.
once in a while.
I wrote that down after watching your that special you sent
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I wrote one other thing down. I don't know what the fuck what this is, but I'm just gonna say it. Maybe it'll make sense to you in the context of that video. Man, my friend Brian is really going places.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't even remember. Is that
That's like part of a longer bit I got just about like these dude, I swear every time I talk to my dad on the phone, I end up walking away. I'm like, yeah, I got 2 more minutes of material
yeah,
off of that.
that's what it was.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, okay, I remember.
It's
Yeah,
so so wild. But back to Travis a little bit. Can you walk me through like it doesn't have to be Father Forgive Me, but for these music videos, what is the process of going from like concept to filming? Like, are you who comes up with the idea? Like, how does that work? And what role are you playing? And if you can, just come a little bit closer to because the light's hitting your face a little bit. There we go. Cool.
it's a little more
There
flattering
you
now.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're making music videos, the process varies song to song, artist to artist. In the case of Travis, you're working with somebody who is a film buff, and that really does make a difference in music videos because he can he can tell you scenes that are impactful to him, and you can see them in your head. And then sometimes we'd go out and recreate them. But as far as like concept and ideation goes, with someone like Travis, they bring that to the table, which is amazing, man. That kid can write stories, and we're usually telling stories from his own life anyway. So it's based and grounded in reality and truth. So it was easy to tell, like it's, if you watch our videos, like Joyride, one of my favorites, it's about a kid stealing a Lamborghini and just going on a joyride with his boys and then getting arrested at the end by a cop. And that's the whole story. Like that's a music video. You take that premise, that memory that you have, and you're like, let me put the characters in, let me fictionalize a couple different pieces of this story for the screen to make it entertaining. And then you make sure that you find somebody who can perform their song well. Like not everybody has charisma, as you know. Like there's a recording artist who's great in the studio, but they might not be great on stage, and they definitely probably aren't good on camera then. So with Trav, you had the full package, made everything really simple in that way. But then you had a team of friends behind him, people who are willing to give up a full day of their life, call off work for no money, and play a character. So they're acting something none of them were accustomed to doing. And you just show up. If you show up and get out of the car that day, turn the camera on, you already won. Like you're a step ahead of most people making music videos. So I just encourage you to look at your own life and tell stories from it, because it's affordable. You go steal. Travis worked at a pizza place. We called a pizza place. Can we film there? Of course you can. Now we have a production value just by like being at a pizza shop. These kids come in with like 18 debit cards trying to figure out which one they're going to pay with because they just stole them all. And Travis is the guy behind the counter taking their money. And he's like, what the fuck? These are clearly bootleg and not you, but he don't care because these are real things, like we were shitheads, man. We lived a life as kids. Travis did. We didn't grow up together, but we both got in trouble. That's for sure. And that's easy to tell stories about. So just tell stories. Long story short.
And when you guys were doing that, did he have like a budget for this?
Well, no. He was still working a job. I want to say he worked at a nursing home for like the first 10 videos we made together, off of You Good, the album. And then he started to get some like money generating from streaming, which is completely separate of videos. So he had that going for himself. And the budgets were $0, but dude, you know this, like it doesn't cost any money to show up to go to a park and film, like a couple kids smoking a blunt and running from a cop. You just need $20 to get a police costume, and then you go return the shit and then it's free. So just find creative ways to tell stories for free. Like, dude, we would show up to places with like my big gimbal. It'd be raining. We'd have a dude dressed up in a full priest outfit with a Bible in his hand, smoking a fat joint, and we'd have the cops called on us. And the cops would show up. Like one time, they had their fucking gun out. They pulled their gun out because they're like, "No, don't move." And we're all like, "What the fuck is going on here?" We got this Jesus smoking a joint. Like it was hilarious. And
the irony is like you're actually. I mean, of all the trouble that you guys probably got in. Like you're doing something like we're actually just we're making art like that. And they're like,
like, dude, it's always a student film. That's a good piece of advice that we used regularly. I don't care how old you are. I'm 30. I was 25 then. Don't look like I'm in college that much. But if you make a student film, they can't argue that shit. What school do you go to? Washington State. Are you going to call my fucking professor? No, you're going to see 6 kids out here on a Saturday night or on a Friday night when they could be out getting fucked up, causing chaos, which we probably still did.
You did after the video, but
you just have to do it, and you have to be honest, authentic, and real, and people are going to let you get away with stuff like the light rail people. You're not supposed to film down there without a pass. But if you just show up and start filming and you ask for forgiveness and not permission, are they going to make me delete my footage? I'm so much faster than them. I can run. Okay. Like you're not going to catch me, and you're not going to catch any of my friends. We've ran from the cops before too. So
you had practice with that before getting into this. Did you have a background in film? Like, did you go to school for this, or self-taught, or what?
Yeah, it's completely self-taught. That's another thing. Like film school is a great opportunity. If you can afford to go to film school, try it out. I don't know. I didn't go, so I don't really know what it's like. But I can tell you that the best film school I've ever seen is just filming. And dude, all you gotta do is press a button and you're a director. So I started calling myself a director the moment I finished my first video. I want to be a director. Well, that's what I fucking am then. And you're gonna call me that too. And if you don't, I'm going to prove to you why I am. So I film a video for you and I start directing you around, and people are like, oh shit, he is the director. So they tell their friends. And now you got a circle of 5 people who know about you as a director. And that just exponentially grows as you continue to create more videos and hopefully get better. I was thankful that like I started off pretty solid. I was making cool shit. So I've just made this my life since 19 years old. So it's 11 years of filming videos. I'm not rich, definitely not rich. Got like $20, but I'm happy as fuck. And there's not many people who can wake up every day knowing that, like, man, I got nothing, but I have everything. Do you know what I mean?
And I mean, I listened to you on another podcast before this, and you were talking about equipment and like creative ways. If you don't have the budget to get equipment, like what are some tricks you've used so that you can still make quality content without investing a bunch of money?
Yeah, man, that's a great question because there's so many different ways to do it. Well, I'll just start with like when we were filming with Travis, he didn't have any money. I didn't have any money. I didn't own any camera gear. So like our first couple of videos, we're borrowing cameras, lenses, and computers to edit the shit. The first one, we
And where'd
actually,
you get those? Like, if somebody's interested in doing that, like, how did you go about doing that?
well, originally Tyler Dops was interning for Ryan Lewis at the time. He
Mm-hmm.
was like helping him out in a bunch of different ways. This was like just after the heist, and he had a Sony camera. Ryan Lewis did, and he let us borrow that to film what became Father Forgive Me. And when I got the camera, there's a memory card in it, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna look on this memory card. It's Ryan Lewis on vacation with his wife, and it's just like photos of him and like what are they called? Sea turtles, not sea turtles, but like the things that look like dogs that are in the water.
Oh yeah, sea lions?
Yeah, sea lion. It was so it's just like him and like his wife like with a sea lion. So that was our first experience borrowing a camera.
And for anybody listening who doesn't know who Ryan Lewis is, he produced Macklemore's like most successful album, and
Yeah.
they've done a couple together. So it's just so you end up getting it through another creative connection.
We did, but there's also other resources that we would use. In Seattle, there's camera rental companies called Glazers. I never had any positive experiences with them. I personally think everyone I talked to there was an asshole and they treated us like shit. But we could guarantee that on the day we needed something, we'd pay them and we would have the piece of gear, even though every time we fucking paid them, it was a different deposit. They treated us differently. And it's like, dude, we probably have more views than everybody who rents shit from you. And you have no idea you're treating us like an asshole. So treat people good, even if they look like they're bums, because you never know what they're making. But the last resource, which I would suggest currently, and which we did use, it's called borrowlenses.com. There's lensrental.com as well. And you basically just pay a price to rent camera gear for 3 days or more. And they send it to your house. They give you prepaid shipping for return, and it's as simple as that. And if you're organized, you know when your shoot's going to be, you have everything, you have all your ducks in a line, you'll be able to rent camera equipment that they film movies on, you know, for a reasonable price. And that's a great way to make an entry into a market that is honestly saturated with extremely talented people with a lot of money, more money than most of us. And a lot of people will tell you gear doesn't matter, and like I can promise you it matters.
Yeah.
It matters more than anything, to be honest.
What about on the editing side though? Because that piece is always tricky too. Just like software, and there's that the back end is as expensive as the front end sometimes.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely as expensive as the front end because editing requires less money up front. You could have a pretty normal, like I got a 2012 MacBook and it edits video that I film still to this day. And it also, well, this is 2015 now, but you can get free programs that allow you to do the exact same editing that movies are being made on. So take that route, LumaFusion, DaVinci Resolve. You can do it on an iPad now. You could do it on your cell phone if you're clever enough. Like, there is no excuse to be making video, to not be making videos for yourself. I strongly encourage everybody to look up the free resources you have, man, because like this thing, dude, this camera is better than so many fucking cameras out there. And if you just turn it like this, oh, now you have a movie camera and you have portrait mode video now. Like, there's no excuse. If I had this shit 6 years ago, I wouldn't have been borrowing cameras. I would have been making iPhone videos and I would have been doing it well and I would have been happy doing it. And it would have led to more videos.
Yeah.
So just like use what you have at your disposal, borrow. And if you, one thing I did for my first camera when I lived in New York City is I went to Best Buy, opened the box. Hey, can I see that camera? Open the box, fuck it up. Yeah, I'm not going to buy this one. Come back the next day and buy it open box. You feel me?
Yeah.
It works, man. Like, you got to be clever out here because you're competing against fucking corporations, people who are rich, and then people who already have what they need. So, like, to level that playing field, do whatever it takes, even if it's illegal. Try not to get caught. Fucking get a credit card, dude. Lie about how much money you make. Get a credit card. 18 months. I know it sounds ridiculous. Like, there's a reason I'm broke, but like, the truth is, like, I'll do whatever it fucking takes to make something. And it's led to a pretty good life. So all I can tell you is my experience. Beg, borrow, and steal if you have to. Okay. Like, stealing last resort, but do it if you have to.
And for like the training aspect of it, because I mean, you started making stuff, but your stuff is really quality. Like, how did you improve? Where were some of the best places that you found like free, knowledge that you could get and didn't like lead you down the wrong path?
Man, great question. The best resource you have is YouTube University, Coffee Shop College, man. That's where I've worked. I've worked at coffee shops for 12 years now. It's a place you go where you pay X amount of dollars to be there for 4 hours. You better be fucking productive. And one way of doing that is to research people who are better than you. There's plenty of information out there from people far greater than I am at what I do. And those are the people I learned from. And if you exhaust that option on YouTube, because you can, after a year or two, like, you can learn everything you can, buy masterclass. Like, I mean it. Like, masterclass will change your life as a filmmaker. There is James Cameron, Martin Scorsese, David Lynch. Dude, the list goes on and on and on.
I've never opened one of the. Is it good? Like, is it knowledgeable?
It is. It's the best. I would never suggest somebody to go to film school before completing all of those courses. If you completed those courses and felt like you still needed some higher education for some reason from a guy who works at a fucking college, doesn't even make movies, I mean, take that route. But like, in my experience, dude, I'm learning from James Cameron. Like, this guy's, I just saw Avatar 2. I told you we're going to talk about that shit for 10 hours. But the truth is, man, there's so many resources out there. And honestly, shout out to my ex-girlfriend, Yasi. She's a great artist. Follow her. I don't think she knows this, but she's still paying for my masterclass. She got it for me last year as a birthday gift when we were together. Even though she didn't buy it, she just got like an extra copy of it and gave it to me, which was still so kind and generous. But if you're listening to this, Yasi, I would cancel that if I were you, or you could keep paying for it and I'll be very grateful either way. This is her mic too.
Yeah.
But yeah, masterclass, man. And if you're like a chef or you're a teacher or a rocket scientist, bro, there's classes from the most intelligent and successful people in the world on that platform, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not on there.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to check this out. We gotta name this episode like everything on a budget or something. Or thanks to my exes.
101.
Well, for like budget stuff too, you're offering like a $500 music video. Like, how does that work? And if people are any musicians or artists interested in working with you, where can they find that info?
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in a shoestring budget video, like a $500 video, um, just reach out to me. I'm always willing to work with people who are underfunded and underexposed because, like, I mean it, man. Like, I'm one of those people too. So I want to pay it forward in any way I can. I can't do videos for free because I'd be poor and I already am. And to be honest, $500 for a music video is crazy. Like, people get that just to color grade the video, not, and then some people get like $1,000 a day to edit, and then like to film they get $1,000 a day, and I'm going all in for 500. So like, what you can do is pay me that money. We come up with the idea together. You buy my travel if it's outside of Dallas. I come stay at your house. Like, I sleep on your fucking couch. Like, we're making a video together. Uh, Usually it's for no money outside of that $500. Like, but if you do have $1,000, we'll say you pay me that 500. Now you got $500 to invest in making this video look good, putting that money on screen, which is what Travis and the gang and I used to do. Is like, I wasn't making these videos for, I was making them for less than $500. Okay. Like, and these videos have millions and millions and millions of views. Also, we got 50 million views, not 25. I
Yeah,
love you,
yeah.
bro.
I meant to update that, but
I'm counting every fucking view. That's all I got. Uh, but yeah, man, just make sure that you're keep making things.
yeah. And when you're doing a video like that, how do you like break it down to where, like, how much time are you spending on a video like that?
Fuck, 40 hours, just on the filming and the editing, and then like you put the travel in, and I lose a day each way, so you count those 2 days of travel. I'm spending a lot of time trying to make something for these artists that they can be proud of and that they can use to further their career. A lot of people that I've worked with on these $500 videos have went on to get and sign deals. Like, look up Lorelei. I'm not saying my videos were responsible for that, because they're not, but they definitely played a huge role in showing that record company that this girl, in her instance, Lorelei, was about her shit. She had a team around her. She had her own vision. The team that she's with had a vision, and then they executed it. You look at value that you can provide these record labels. That's the ultimate value. They have to spend, they fork out thousands and thousands of dollars on artists without a team, and then they hire somebody like a trap, or then they signed somebody like Travis to Epic Records, and he has everything you need. He has a Tyler Dops who mixes, masters, and produces better than most people could ever dream of. He had a girlfriend named Janessa, who is an incredible music video producer. Our videos would never be what they were if it wasn't for her. And then you had me, who could fucking film, edit, color, etc. And that's how you invest what little you have, with the hope that someone's going to see this, like the right person. It's not about getting millions of views. Like, we only had like 10,000 views on Father Forgive Me, and people were paying attention to Travis. They're like, he was getting better looks, and now it's at 20 million, and he's gotten so many opportunities just based off of that. So get uncomfortable, make sure that you're spending every dollar you have trying to further your career. I mean, get your kush, get your alcohol, do whatever you have to do, like, to live your life, but make sure the bulk of your money is going into what you're passionate about, because dreams only come around once, and you don't have the opportunity for a second chance most of the time. So like, continue fighting the good fight, keep making things.
Oh, for
You know?
sure. Dude, it's so funny. Anything with Travis, it just takes me back because, like, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, before I started stand up, before anything, I read in the Seattle Times an article about Travis. And I think Campana was in that article too. I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but I remember
It
reading
was.
this thing about him and like being like, oh, I need to check out this dude or whatever. And then I end up meeting, like, I knew Henry before, but he had that connection, then met all you guys, and I met Trav and stuff. And I like fell in love with his music. And I actually went to see him at the Fisherman's Festival,
Hell yeah.
like the year I started stand up. So I saw him live with Paris Alexa, and like, it's just, he's been doing shit for so long now. And I like what you said, because it's like, in order to get in front of those people, like, it's great to get in front of them, but like you got to have your shit lined up. And there's a lot of people that like, oh, I just need to meet that person. That person's going to ask you like, what can I sell for you?
Yes.
And if you're giving them a proof of concept, like all they got to do is put their stamp on it, and they can produce, like, put it out there and make a shitload of money off of it.
Right. Your return on investment and all those weeks spent hungry pays off in leaps and bounds, and he's the perfect example of just like, man, put everything you have into what you want to do, because there is no telling where you could go. Like this kid, he's not a kid anymore. This guy has fucking songs with G-Eazy, Juicy J. He's worked with some of the most historic producers in history who respect him. Not just are fans of like his clout, they respect him. I've been in a room with Static Selecta and Travis Thompson in New York City, and to hear somebody speaking to your friend the way that he was, it was beautiful, because this guy has platinum plaques with Joey Badass, with Nas, like goats, like true goats. So man, there's like, you don't know who is watching your video. Like 10 views could be worth $1 million if one of those views is the right person.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like if you have a back catalog, like for somebody to look through when the time comes to where they do want to sign you, if you have 10 videos to show what you're capable of, that you made with no money, that look like they weren't made with no money, man, there's no telling what you can accomplish in this entertainment industry.
Yeah.
It's a
And then
family
also
stand-up.
the other piece is like, dude, if you hadn't made those videos, so they say they come and they're like, hey, we're ready to go, we want to sign you, and you're like, well, shit, like I've never made anything before. Like work with what you have.
Yep.
And I like you, if you have a podcast, like it doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be like Rogan or any of the, like, just work with what you got. And then over time, like, dude, some of these older episodes I've done, brutal, like terrible. And like, it's just, I listen to myself and like, I can't deal with it. Like it's horrible. But now, like, I know in 5 years when I look back at this, I'm going to be like, oh, that sucked too. But like that progress, it doesn't happen without making shit. And
yes, man, like your next podcast, when you have taken that next leap of faith climb that next step on your ladder, bro, people are going to give you money, man, because they're going to see, look what he did.
Patreon.com/FNF pod.
Let's go, baby. And dude, before I forget, I've been wanting to say this, like, hey man, the next time you want to do like a 10-minute set, help me get to where it is, and I will make that video a multicam video for you, because that's something I want in my portfolio too. I want to show that, like, bring me to your fucking comedy show. If you are funny, I have 3 cameras there. I will not miss the shot. Like we can make Netflix level. Like, dude, I do the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, next time next time I go to Dallas, I definitely want to do that. Like I've been meaning to talk, and Mike DeVore, actually, he shoots film too. So he's like in the same corner. So we could do it, all 3 of us together, and get something good. Dude, it's so, with material, with stand up, like I'm cool with posting crowd work, but it's like the jokes are never done. And so it's really hard to like, it's like releasing a song before it's finished. And the only way you get better at that song and like make it better is by getting up and doing it. So it's like, the more I do stand up, the less I want to release material, but still just to have it in the can for that conversation, it would be great.
Right. And then maybe having it in the can with a private link, you're able to send it out to a comedian and be like, hey man, let me open up for you on the road. Look at my 10-minute set.
All right, let's I asked you to bring a story on for the episode. So before we jump into the story section, and I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember you asking me.
Yeah.
I don't remember thinking of one though.
Okay, if you don't have a story, I mean, we could do a review of Avatar. I haven't seen it yet, like the second Avatar.
Cool.
So we can do that, but before we go into that section, let's just, if you can, give me a brief summary of what Bunker X Bunker is, and what you're doing, just so anybody into paintball can check that out too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking about that. Bunker to Bunker is a series I started at the end of my working relationship with Travis and the gang. They had just signed a record deal. We had made 3 record label projects together. And I was just, I was at a weird place in my life where like my ego was up here and my view count was up here. So I was not totally all together here. I had visions of grandeur that I didn't achieve in the monetary way. So like my ego got the best of me and I quit. I walked away. I wanted my friendships over like continuing to work for like a corporate version of music videos, which would be a label. It wasn't for me. In hindsight, it was big regret. Um, what was the fucking question?
Bunker to
Oh
bunker.
yeah, okay. So on the day that I quit, I remember, looking at Trav and Shelton and telling them like, "Hey man, I'm really getting into paintball again, and I think there's a serious opportunity for me to enter into this industry." And the way I seen it completely changed the way things were filmed. So I did that. I started what was called Bunker to Bunker. It's a paintball series. Originally, it was on my journey becoming a paintball player. First few episodes, like maybe 5, are of me playing and me attempting to elevate my gameplay. But then slowly and surely I got more involved in this community, which is so beautiful. It's an amazing community. And I started telling stories about other paintball people, and the channel evolved into that. And today it is 21 episodes deep of paintball stories, professional and divisional alike. People that would be, I don't know, they'd be in like little league compared to the pros, but I have pro stories as well. There's just so many good people in that industry that like I encourage you to go watch Bunker to Bunker on the Place for Things YouTube and just see that like paintball is a sport that is way more difficult than football, baseball, and basketball. And I was highly successful in all 3 of those at like very high levels. So like I just encourage you guys, like this sport is going to be on television again and you will be hearing about it. So if you could find a way to get a little involved in what it takes to be a great paintball player, one place you could go is to watch Bunker to Bunker because these people are giving everything they have. Like I thought I was giving a lot in order to be a music video director. My roommate, he, he's given up everything in his whole life for years to get to the pro status, and so many others have done that too. And it's just unique in a way that the best players in the world aren't getting paid a lot,
Oh
like
yeah.
they're making less than people at McDonald's, which is okay. I'm all about getting $15 an hour to flip a burger. I'm not that person. Sorry if you are, or not you, but anybody listening. Just know that these people are trying really, really hard and they're doing it for the love of the game in a way that nobody in the NBA truly is. They couldn't when you're getting paid the money that they're being paid. So yeah, that's my story in paintball, and it led me to stop making music videos for a couple years and to pursue filmmaking in another way, which has since allowed me to work for the National X-Ball League, which is our NFL. It's the highest level of paintball there is on the planet. These people, like, if LeBron James was to come out onto a paintball field, I would fuck him up. I mean it, like confidently, I would fuck him up. There's people in the NFL that play paintball competitively, and dude, just because they're in the NFL does not mean they're good. They're like, they're rookies compared to some of these guys who've been playing for years. There's just nothing like it in the world, man. It's like, nope, you could run a 440, but nobody can run 200 miles an hour, and that's how fast a paintball is traveling.
Yeah.
So like anybody can play it. I encourage you to try it out. Like get your kids involved. I played football for a long time at a high level, and CTE is real, man. Like concussion syndrome is not a joke, and I you'll never get that playing paintball. So just like make sure that like your health is right, and paintball is a good way to do that.
Yeah, man. I watched some of the videos ahead of time, and
Thank you.
they're extremely well done. They remind me a lot. My buddy Mike DeVore, who you've been talking to, he's been doing
Yeah.
this channel PNW martial arts scene,
Totally.
and he's doing a similar thing where he's like looking at different levels of people doing MMA, and he just signed like a pay-per-view deal that he's going to be filming, and like they're charging a pay-per-view, so it's super dope. So I definitely like, you know, encourage anybody watching to check out that channel, especially if you're into paintball, but even not, like if you're interested in getting any video work done and you're curious about Dylan stuff, check it out, because it's awesome stuff and super creative. All right, let's segue into the story section. I got some music. There's a few people on this that you might recognize on our story segment music. So here we go.
It's story time. It's story time with Phantom. Yeah, it's story time. It's story time with Phantom and friends.
Dylan Fout here. Welcome to my story time. I whisper in your ear, sweet lullabies in your left ear. Fuck.
It doesn't have to be anything crazy, like anything super long. Just anything you want to share, anything you're working through. If you want to talk about Avatar 2, we can talk about that. I have never seen either of them, so.
Well, I walked 8 miles round trip on the 15th to see Avatar premiere, so I'm a stan. I won't put you guys through that. I do believe that is the greatest story ever told, and like I do mean that from like a genuine place. It's a war story. It's a love story. It's a conservationist story, climate change. It's an indigenous story.
You're getting emotional about this. I like it.
I could cry thinking about it, man. Like, because it just has so many ties into like what we're going through as a country. And I won't get political because I am extremely political, and most people don't agree with my political opinions, which is cool. But I just hope that when people watch that film, they could see it through that lens. Like, just know that like the Na'vi people are Native Americans. Do you know what I mean? Like the same shit that they're doing to them in the movie, Americans have done to Native Americans. You know, like and it as fucked up as it is the truth, and we can't run from it. So like maybe we could look at these like films like Avatar, which are meant to be entertaining. Like, you're not supposed to go there with a political agenda, and if you do, like, I don't know, you're probably crazier than me. But just know that like it's real life out there, and it's a great film. It's good for kids, good for everybody. Story time though. The first fuck, my nephew's watching this. I don't know. It's hard to tell a good story. All right, Rocky, I love you to death, kid. You know I smoke weed, whatever. All right. One time I got a seizure getting a blowjob. So if you've ever gotten a blowjob and your body starts going like this, just know that you should probably quit getting blowjobs.
Wait, okay, hold on. That was like the most efficient. Let's dial that back and let's go step by step what was going on there.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have epilepsy?
I don't know. I've never been tested for it. I've had seizures multiple times. Yeah, so just be careful, you know, like pay attention to your body out there, people. Like sex is a dangerous act, it turns out. Not only could you pop out a little version of yourself, and you could hurt yourself. So make sure you're
or
stretching.
the back of somebody's throat.
Right.
How did the other person feel?
Bro, it was nerve-wracking.
we gotta like let's
arms like stuck like this, and she's like, dude, what's going on with your arm? I'm like, oh, I can't move it, like my legs are numb.
Did you lose the ability to speak?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm just sitting there mute with my dick out. And like I don't have like a sexy body, you know. I'm a normal dude. I'm not like working out here. So it was a pretty vulnerable place to be with your dick out and like your hands stuck like this, just like, oh dude, you know, like, so how's your day going, baby? This is fucking nuts, right?
And then she's also like, she doesn't know if you're being quiet because you're like uncomfortable or you're really enjoying it. So there's that lack of communication. She's trying to understand, like, should I keep going? Should I?
Yo, killer blowjobs are real.
Yeah, I mean, she literally put you into a seizure.
It's happened twice, actually. So
Really?
That's how I know. It's like, and
Same
it's
girl?
No.
Huh.
Both. I've had 2 serious exes, and both of them that has happened with. And fuck, I should have. Whatever. I don't give a shit. They're my exes. They're both good people.
Yeah.
Sexually active people. Whatever people. Okay. We all fuck. Yeah, dude. Just be careful out there.
Where did it take place? Like
in my roommate's bed. Yeah. 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 It's like, you know how like when you get hurt on a football field and they don't have to cart you off, but they like put you under their arms? Imagine like sex is a football game and you're doing great, or at least you think you're doing good. I don't know. Probably not. And then out of nowhere you get injured and like there's no trainer there to walk you off the field and tell you everything's going to be okay. It's just your girlfriend putting you under her shoulder, taking you to the bathroom so you can take a shower and regain fucking movement in your limbs and extremities.
God damn, man. That's funny.
Hey,
I'll take it. It's a story. Yeah. It counts.
It's a dirty one, actually. Yeah. I don't tell that story ever. But you know, we all fuck.
Yeah, you gotta tell stories to get to the next one too. So keep making things.
Keep making things, guys. And babies are a part of that process, you know. Feel however you feel. I believe a woman has a right to choose what she does with their body, and I'll believe that till the day I die. You know, just had to throw that in there too.
All right, dude. Where can people get, like, if they want to support you, if they want to check out your website, your videos, all that stuff? Where's the best place to find that?
It's such a funny follow-up to a killer blowjob story. Okay, if you wanted to follow along with my journey and the things that I make, I'd encourage you to look up Dylan Filmed It on Twitter and Instagram. My Facebook is Dylan Fout. And then if you were looking to watch some of my videos, go to Travis Thompson's YouTube channel and you'll find 48 of them. It's a lot of videos to be making with one group of people, and there's a ton of work to see there. So like, go check it out, see what our blueprint was, see what our recipe was, and you know, just fall in love with the story if you can.
Yeah, man. And then the website's theplaceforthings.com.
.us. Actually,
.us. That's right. Okay.
Someone bought the. I didn't put. Okay, kids, put auto renew on your fucking domains, or some jerk off in Denver is going to buy your fucking domain and try to sell it back to you for $3,800. Okay. And I found out where this dude lived and I went to his house and he was not home. He was lucky because that shit pissed me off so much. I worked so hard for that website with my friend Sam Wonder, and just for it to be stolen out from under us because we were assholes. So don't make the same mistake we did, kids.
So funny. Well, dude, thank you for coming on today. This was super fun. Cool. We got to hang out in person, shoot some stuff together. For anybody listening, please don't forget to rate and review us wherever you're listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. And then if you have a question or comment for Dylan or myself, throw it in there. It helps us a lot. Helps us with the algorithm. And then patreon.com/FNFpod. Support us if you can. And finally, if you're on Instagram, we're at FNFpod. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Thanks, Dylan. We're going to leave you guys with Jaga.
I just make the ways, I don't write them. I can hear the lyrics in my spirit as I write them. Why you wanna walk and talk just like them? I can't get caught up in all the hype and the excitement. I just make the waves, I don't write them. I can hear the lyrics in my spirit as I write them. Why you wanna walk and talk just like them? I can't get caught up in all the hype and the excitement.